Good morning and welcome to Making Music with Code using Strudel. This is video 7 and this week we're looking at chords. This is roughly where we ended up last week. We started playing about with notes. Note, sound and some modifiers, and play this, it produces a note. No surprises there. No surprises. Okay, let's add some more bits and pieces to it. If we put it into chevrons, it'll still sound exactly the same, but it would keep it in tempo with the other bits of music that we are creating. If you put it into square brackets, which we should do, square brackets, like that, any things that are grouped together within square brackets are treated as a single entity, as one melody, one drum beat, one whatever, or one chord as we're creating in this case. It'll sound exactly the same in this instance. But when we modify this and play about with it, it makes it work better. So we can put in another note. And again, this is not radically different to the last video. So G sharp, it's a black note just to the right of G, and we're in third octave up. I think that's where we got to last week. And if we put a B in there, within the same octave, in the third octave, put the B in there, it'll play all three notes. Okay, to play this as a chord is remarkably straightforward. You just put a comma between the notes. It plays them all the same time. It plays the chord. There's three notes here. It is called a triad because it's three notes. You can put 4, 5. If it's the guitar, you can often have 6 notes in a chord because there's 6 strings. With the piano, you've got roughly 5 fingers on average in each hand, so you can have 3, 4, 5 notes to make a chord. 3 is incredibly common, and if you search for triads, you get loads of hits, you get loads of success. So E3, G sharp third, and B third. What is that? So you can literally put that into Google, and it tells you E, G sharp, B is E major. That's an E major chord. Major chords sound brighter than minor chords. Minor chords are ding, and major chords are ding. They're uplifting. Okay. So FAC is the F major, the components of the F major chord, the triad that makes up the F major chord, FAC, and we can put that in here. There we go. Okay, it's got commas. It's got commas. And it'll play this chord, the E major, then the F major straight after it. Okay, if we take out the commas, you get the plucked notes and then the chord. We can modify the sound. That's playing, as you can see, with the clean electric guitar. You can take that out. You can do it with a piano. Hope easy. That's the beauty of writing things in this linear format, you can just comment out bits that you are playing about with, that you want to try out, that you want to compare and contrast. Sometimes it's easier to write it in a whole line, in one single line, write it horizontally. Sometimes it's easier to write it vertically. Horses for courses. Let's throw in a couple more chords. Okay, we've got D major and a repetition of the E major we had at the beginning, and we can play all of that. Control enter to play. And that's great. If you want to know what to put in here to make up bits of music, you can just Google it. What are the triad piano chords for Billie Jean, for example? And it'll give you a breakdown of it. It's a F sharp minor, A major, and if you don't know what the A major chord is, then use it. What is the A major triad? And it'll tell you. It tells you pretty bad in this one. What is the A major triad? A, D minor, C sharp minor. A major triad, three chords consists of three notes: A, C sharp, and E. Okay, the root, major third, and you can just take that and pump it straight into strudel. Okay, will that play? Right. So let's bring in our bass guitar from last week. I've stripped out a lot of this code because it's just confusing me. And without modifying the bass guitar from last week, at least I don't think I haven't modified the notes. I might have modified the sound and sound shaping. Right. Okay. More about shaping in a second. Okay. Notice how it plays these four notes for every one chord. Okay, we're just telling it to play E, E, D, C. It'll play these four notes for the one chord. That's what I said about putting things in brackets and putting things in chevrons. It keeps everything glued together. Right. What I've also added, I've got a gain slider so you can adjust the volume from last week. Room is reverb. Let's see if we can hear the difference. Hope you can hear the difference. Otherwise, it'd be pretty. Let's take out the bass guitar, which is slightly more complicated when you're doing it vertically. There's probably a shortcut which I haven't discovered yet. So just play this without the room reverb. You get a very flat sound. If you get any sound at all. You're not getting any sound at all. Okay, so I've commented out the room reverb and listen to how flat the note is when it tails off. The room reverb makes it sound as if it's bouncing around an auditorium, bouncing around a room. So it sort of comes in and out as it decays. It's a much more natural sound. In other situations, you call it the reverb. Here it's called the room. Sustain, you could change that to sustain, and that will just make the note continue without modifying the waveform. It's sort of a long decay, but the room is in and out more as it's bouncing around different things. Okay, so we have four chords. We have four bass notes to go along with the chords, and that sounds nice. We've got some reverb on it to fatten out the sound a bit. That sounds okay. It sounds great. Boosted the bass, as you can see, it's got a gain of 3. So it's more upfront, you can hear the bass. It doesn't overpower things, so it's got quite a bit of decay on it, so it's just these bass notes getting hit. We can add our bass beat, our drum beat, so we've got 4, 8, 2, so we've got 4 bass drum to 8 hi-hats to snare drum, 2 beats to snare drum, so we basically 4 on the floor, and it all sounds really good when you put it together. You see that I've got volume controls, gain sliders on the drums, so they don't overpower the other instruments. Sounds quite nice together. You can modify the sound, of course. You can play different instruments by just switching things on and off. Let's take the drums back out. Take the drums out. And do synth strings. Didn't like the sound, that's why I put the electric guitar in it. I took the bass out. Obviously not. Okay. Didn't really like that, so I put the guitar in there. Piano sounds quite nice. Besides, there we go. If that's a bit too thin, there is a nice what's it, GM Grand Piano GM? I can't remember. Piano GM, it's just GM Piano, I think, just GM Piano. It's a fuller, richer sound. GM Piano, try that one. If you bring the bass back in, they might run over each other a bit. So, there we have it, our first foray into the use of chords. More in the next video. This code will be in the description. Google allows it. It doesn't like some of the lines of code. It thinks there's some sort of hack in there. So as long as Google allows it, this will be in the description. Have a look at, research some songs, try and reproduce them, or try and reproduce the chords at least, and more on chords next video. Thanks for watching.